Hey gang, so somebody asked me recently about scripts and specific scripts that we use here at Madden Physical Therapy, and I'm more than willing to share, but I think there's a more important process that we all can take advantage of. And recently I was reading a book, the latest book, I think it's called Smarter, Better, Faster by Charles Duhigg. It's an awesome book if you haven't read it. It's hardcover and orange. I'm sure it's available on Amazon. But nonetheless, he talks about 5 different types of management. And I heard somebody else in the physical therapy space talking about the importance of us to give scripts to our staff. And while I agree that it's good for us to constantly be testing what we say to patients and move in the right direction, I think it's a lot more important that we look at the type of management and we decipher that and decide on the type of management that we want to have for long-term stability of our private practice, rather than just handing scripts to our staff. Like personally, I want staff that thinks. So, you know, if this is the PT and this is the employee, like kind of what I heard being said, and it's somewhat popularized in our industry right now, is like, here's the script. You do this, say this, I'm going to tell you what to say. Well, that does a couple things that are really, really negative. Number one is it puts more stress again on the PT. So unless you're going out and you're buying scripts, which I think is ridiculous, and handing them to your staff, that doesn't really make sense to me, because it puts more stress on the PT, and with systemizing, making things or implementing systems or automating things, we want to get away from that, where everything is reliant on us. Our answer to everything being reliant on us is for us to dictate what our staff is going to say. Not good. And then what that does to the staff is, like, they see things that happen. They're the ones on the calls. They have cognitions, realizations, and we're completely robbing them of that opportunity. So what I think is a much better idea, and what we've incorporated, is like more the trust and empower management model. And what we're saying there is, okay, you're on the calls, tell me, like, what are you saying? And by the way, we record it. So anytime we get a little bump in attendance or anything like that, like, you know, our group is constantly testing things. And then what that does is that relieves me from pressure, where I don't have to formulate things constantly. And now we have 35 problem solvers in our company, and not one problem solver handing out solutions to 34 problem finders, which I think is the situation a lot of us get caught in. So, you know, this is a much better model, and it's a lot easier to do, and it really only relies on you doing 2 things. So one, like, hey, like let's say we're doing a workshop reminder phone call. So like, I'm just going to go to Debbie, our front office person, our team leader, and I'm going to say, hey Debbie, like, how do you do these phone calls? Record them and then get it transcribed. And our 4 receptionists agree on that, and then I'm going to look at it. All right, so pretty much takes no effort at all for me to get to this point. In this old model, I have to originate the script, and I'm not talking with patients on the phone ever. So, and especially I'm not doing reminder phone calls for a workshop. They are. So I'm going to look at what they're doing. What are you saying? And so let's look at that. All right, and we're going to look at it together. And then I either approve. Oh, there we go. So I approve or amend. Pretty simple. Or make recommendations, or whatever you want to call that. But I look and then make a decision. Or I ask a question. I probe deeper. I'm another solution-oriented person helping them solve their problem. Like, that's my goal. It's more of coach than it is dictator. So really subtle change. If you are incorporating scripts in your practice, which I think are a great idea to have, you just make sure that you're flexible enough that you're allowing your front office person to constantly improve on that. Any changes that are made to the scripts, obviously you should approve or not approve. That should still run through you. You don't want staff, you know, going haphazard saying wacky stuff on the phone. I get that, and you want to control that process, but like, give your staff some credit, empower them, and they're going to love it, and they're going to love you for it. It's a much better environment to work in. They can make changes, they can make observations, and you're not depriving them of that all-important human characteristic of feeling like they're in control of their job, which they are.